What?
No.
What?
No. Hi.
Hi. I want to tell a story about a bad dream.
Oh, tell us.
Quickly. I told Alexi briefly, and we were like laughing about it.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like it's super relatable, but what it was is that I had a dream that I was suddenly like conscious in my dream that I hadn't been to high school in a long time.
In a long time.
Just I was just like, I haven't been to class in forever. That's not good. And then I like basically convinced myself that I hadn't graduated.
Okay.
And then I had the sort of like mature, like I was able to be like, yeah, but you have a great career going. You don't really need high school. And then I was like, no, I'm not gonna be one of those guys who doesn't graduate from high school.
Your ego
and so
got
in
in the
my
way.
dream, I went to my high school and thought it was real. And I was like, looks different here. Must be because it's been a little while. Anyway, I'm gonna talk to the principal and get this straightened out. And then I was like, that's not the principal I had. It's been a little while. And then in my dream, the principal was like, I was talking to this principal and I was like, I haven't been to class in a long time. I don't even remember what classes I take, but I feel like I'm really behind. And my principal in the dream was like, I think you graduated like a while ago. Oh. And I was like, I don't think so. And I was in my dream. It's like, you know, where you have a dream where you're being rational, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like stupid. It's like, I haven't been in a long time. I don't think I'm doing very well in science.
I should probably show up in a few classes.
Did you like know in your dream when you stopped? Like, is it senior of high school you dropped out, or like do you know what the reason was?
I actually, shockingly enough, graduated from high school, and so it didn't actually make any sense. But it's funny how the principal character in my dream was like super rational. Was like, I think you graduated a while ago, and I was like, I don't think so. And
like,
I'm like,
you're doing kind of like a 13 going on 30 sort of situation where you were like,
I don't know what it was,
That's
but
a good movie.
It is.
In my dream, it was realistic enough where they were like looking through transcripts, right?
Yeah.
And then we're like, Kevin, I think you're fine. Like, and I was like, I don't know about that. And then I woke up.
Check again.
Yeah, and then I woke up and felt stressed out and like upset. Like, do you do that where you?
All the time.
Like with dreams?
Yeah.
You wake up and you think the thing really happened?
Of course, all the time. But it's usually I'm an optimist in my dreams, so I like wake up and I was like, oh my God, I'm famous. Oh, oh no, never mind.
Well, you are becoming
one day.
famous,
I
though.
mean,
You are
Very
killing it.
soon.
with my parents' friends. Yeah,
No, your parents' friends.
they're like
I'm like an A-list.
avid viewers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. My mom is my biggest fan.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
sure.
Totally.
Does your mom watch this podcast?
She does.
She's stoked on your
Hi.
wardrobe right now.
Well, yes, this literally belonged to her. Mom, my mom watches this, so I'm gonna be like, Mom,
Yeah.
this is your shirt.
So this is going to be a very popular episode in the Johnson household.
Yes, one could say.
I don't know about the Srinivas household. That's my real surname. Because if I swear, I can't send it to my parents.
We don't
No,
have to
that's fair.
swear.
Or if I tell a story that's like,
I
a
know you
little
want a
bit,
gangster rap, but
We can cut a whole other version with no
Oh,
swears.
and just be like, this is for the Indian parents version.
Indian Parents Edition.
That's what I do with my stand-up because I always want recordings of it. So
Yeah.
I like record and then I'll cut if I made a joke that's,
You got to hire James Idle to do a specific different cut.
Yeah.
It's like a deep Vancouver cut reference. He's like filming everything all the time. I'm sure you've met him before.
I haven't.
I want to know about, it's just, we're so into dating shows.
Uh-huh.
I heard you were on one. I just want to hear all about it.
Okay. So it's called The Ultimate Matchmaker.
Okay.
So I was actually on the first 2 episodes ever. It was this show.
Really?
Yeah. So I
So
was living in the UK, and basically they decided they wanted to have this show where each episode would be one guy and one girl, and this like very elite matchmaker was setting them up on dates. And it was mainly targeting like really posh British, Oxford, Cambridge types.
Okay.
And so my friend Archie, who is one of those, got like these Facebook advertisements, and he was like, I bet Ambika would love to be on this show because
Really?
I had just quit my job to move to LA, and so he's like, why don't you call them?
Yeah.
And so I called them, and it happened to, like, I was definitely not the profile they were going for. Like this Indian girl with blue eyeshadow and like, I'm going to LA to become a comedian. No.
Yeah.
But one of the producers, I think, was Indian, and so she was excited. She's like, "Yeah, let's get her on the show."
Yes.
And so then I go and I meet this like very posh, like her name is Lara, and you know she's just
Laura.
like no Lara. And she had a team of people, and you know we chatted, and she was like, "Okay, you know, I'll set you up on a really nice date. We're gonna get my team to do the work and everything."
She sounds posh.
She's super posh. And so when you watch the video, though, it's like she then goes to talk to her team, and they're like, "All right, we'll find Ambika someone funny, but I hope she's not too funny on the date, because you know that Ambika sometimes she can deflect with her sense of humor." And, like they were all like, "Get rid of that humor." Yeah, they didn't like it. But so they set me on this date with a guy named Duncan.
Duncan.
And the date was like the first half hour was just us on the date, and they were filming.
Yeah.
And we were chatting, and Duncan was supposedly like this very hardcore business guy, super international. You know, he works in lots of different countries, and he was like not that great. That was what they told me, and then I met him, and they were like, he was kind of boring.
Okay.
Oh, no.
But he was just like, "Oh, you know, I just after work every day I go home and I go to sleep, so I'm a bit tired or whatever."
So boring.
He was
Duncan.
he was very boring.
You're
but
going
you know,
on a dating show. Let's amp it up, Duncan.
well, so then the producers cut in and they're like, "Okay, now feed her some food." So he like fed me some cake.
Sexy.
And then the producers were like, "Now, Ambika, tell them about your parents' astrologer," because they wanted to have that on camera. So I was telling them about my parents' astrologer, and like we had all these like little sound bites. And then basically the date ended, and we went downstairs for a drink, and he like had his hand on my leg and was flirting.
Okay,
And I was like, "Okay, Duncan's into it. This is cool." So then I went for like a catch up with Lara after the date, and she was like, "How was it?" And I wanted to be on another episode, obviously. So I was like, "Oh, it was great. I would love to see Duncan again."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Great." So they called Duncan. She's like, "So I'm sitting here with Ambika, and she really wants to see you again." And he's like, "Yeah, no."
What? What?
No, but so that was
Excuse me?
the exact reaction of the producer. So they cut that bit out of the episode. So it ends with Lara being like, "Oh, I'm so happy we found you love." And that's how it ended.
But it wasn't really love.
It wasn't really love.
Dude.
No.
Duncan.
Fuck you, Duncan.
Yeah.
Now
fuck
Duncan's
you, Duncan.
probably like,
Now your mom can't watch the show because I
Yeah.
said that.
but
But
I
cut
bet
that part
Duncan's
out.
watching this podcast.
You know
and
what,
he's
Duncan?
He's probably like,
you fucking loser.
exactly.
We're gonna give you.
You're boring, bro.
We're gonna give you a mom edit.
Oh,
It'll be
okay.
okay.
No,
Fuck
my
you,
parents-
Duncan.
You put your hand on my friend Ambika's leg?
Yeah.
And then you have the audacity to say that?
Yeah.
You're the one who's boring. You fuck. What's Duncan do?
He worked in business.
Donuts? Oh, I work in business.
We're not fans.
I hate this guy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm actually so mad. Ambika, you're a catch.
Like,
Yes.
thank you.
You're a
I
catch.
agree.
Thank you.
I absolutely agree.
World traveled, very
I mean,
funny.
Very
You got
good.
Duncan.
But the humor was deflecting. So maybe Duncan caught on that.
I'm
He felt
so
threatened
annoyed.
by your incredible humor.
Yeah. I just, he was just intimidated.
He was intimidated because he's boring.
Cut him loose. Gotta gas
Cut him
it.
loose. Cut
Gas
him
it.
loose. Yeah, yeah,
What was
yeah.
it? That's a Brett Forte joke where he's like, "Gotta gas it, bro."
Yeah.
Gotta gas it.
Gas Duncan right out the door.
Duncan's
wow.
out.
I'm furious.
Don't worry. It's for the better. Because what if I'd fallen in love with
Yeah,
Duncan? I
well-
would have never moved here.
Or
Very
yeah,
true.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that's so. I'm very emotional right now
Oh.
about this.
Okay.
It's weird. It's funny because our friend Louise, she's a musician.
Uh-huh.
She was on a MTV dating show as a teenager.
was she actually?
Yeah.
As a teenager.
Well, she's in a
'cause
band called
she-
Lilacs.
Okay.
And they were
She
like
hit
very
pretty
big.
young. Yeah.
They're very big, but they did this. MTV did this series of things where it would show different artists or bands go on blind dates. It was like a series.
Oh, wait, the whole band would go, or just
Yeah, like with Lilix, there's 4 members, and each of them went on a blind date with the same guy.
Oh.
And then he picked who they liked at the end, which is problematic retrospectively.
Yeah,
But he was
You can have
talking about
your pick of a whole band. Like,
yeah.
it's
But
going to cause all kinds of issues within the band. That's
Oh,
for sure.
100%.
But-
Plus, like, what kind of guy is this?
yeah,
That's good enough for an entire band.
yeah, fuck that guy. He's like the Duncan of Lilix.
Yeah.
The Duncan of Lilix is the name of this episode. But he went when he went out with Louise, who's my only like actual friend from the band. She's like one of my best friends. He was like, "Oh, she seems like negative," and I was like, "Fuck you."
Wow.
Sorry, we have another F word.
Yeah.
For
It's okay. The
mom
parents
edit.
they're okay. They're just.
I'm going to go through and systematically
Don't worry,
remove
don't
all
worry.
the swears.
I'm very passionate about this.
I've just strong-armed my parents into being okay with swears being on the episode.
Swears.
Okay.
Swears with curses.
Wait, I swear a lot. Is it me they have a problem with?
No,
It's you?
You're just not allowed to.
I'm not. Well, they're not really pleased.
You don't really
with it.
swear
Yeah.
though.
But I've strong-armed my way into
I'm
it.
glad
Like,
you
know,
put
Mom
your
and Dad,
parents in an arm bar.
Occasionally,
I'm gonna swear.
I'll swear, and they'll be okay with it.
Yeah?
Occasionally, like my
You know-
dad's like, "You think I haven't heard that word before?" He's like, "I watch Netflix."
Netflix invented the F word. Don't you know that?
If you're very apologetic about it, they're like, "Phew, well, I've heard that word before." But if you just say it like Mom and Dad, fuck, they're like, "Hey,
Have you done that?
Listen, we started doing these benches so she'd stop kicking her drink over. And she did it anyway. Can I just tell you that my band played a concert once, and I got the crowd to chant this thing about anal sex, and my mom was there. No. And my mom was like, "You should put that on the back of a T-shirt."
your mom is super cool."
Yeah.
I'm guessing your mom's not Indian.
My mom's half Japanese, though.
Oh,
So you'd think.
wow. Okay.
My mom's edgy, though.
Yeah.
Mom sounds
That
edgy.
is-
Yeah.
That
After
is
that whole
edgy.
dildo story that
Yeah,
just
she
came
had
out.
the. Yeah,
What?
it's not as. Listen,
These are all words we don't use in my house.
The phrase that you just said really
Makes it
It
sound
doesn't
like it has
sound-
something to do with her, but
No,
it was
no.
just your family
No.
dog.
No. My mom was walking our dog, and he ran to the bushes and picked up a dildo, huge one. And then my mom was walking him, and people were honking, and she's like, "Shut up! Shut up!" So that's the story.
Okay.
So
I made it sound like
You
something
made it really
completely
sound-
different.
yeah,
I made it sound kind of inappropriate.
don't do that.
I'm sorry. That's not,
My mom
not
loves
my
you.
intention.
It's fine.
Oh, good.
She does.
Okay. Well,
Who
I'm
wouldn't?
not trying to perpetuate a dildo story.
There you go again. There you go again.
I
It's
hate
the
when
family
a-
dog.
I hate when a dildo story gets perpetuated. Wow, we can't air any of this for
Yeah.
her mom now. What?
We got to
This is-
cut
it's
this whole
okay, it's
segment.
okay.
This is somehow the filthiest episode.
What has happened
Yeah, I don't know.
to us?
You guys are
Wait.
just trying to make my parents know that I know what these bad things are.
You can.
We'll
you
cut
can,
it all out.
No, or you can angle
There'll
it
be
for
no
them being
episode.
like, "Listen."
It'll be like, "Hello, goodbye, thanks for
Yeah.
coming on the pod."
I just feel like you could angle it like, "Listen, I'm a good person. Kevvy and Alexi are trash.
Yes.
I can't help it if
Yeah.
they're trash because it's really us.
But like
Right?
me laughing at your jokes would imply
That's
that
as bad."
no, it would imply that like I know what sex is, for
Yeah.
example. Because right
Well,
now we're under the
because-
impression I don't know what it is.
I
'Cause
think
any
you don't,
reaction
and I
other
think
than,
I
like,
don't.
Shock horror is like, oh, she knows exactly what they're talking about,
Yeah.
and she's partaking in it.
Yeah. Okay, I mean,
The pressure.
yeah.
The pressure.
Let's just take the pressure off.
You know
and
what?
Assume my parents aren't watching this.
I'm assuming they aren't, and I'm
Okay.
assuming that you don't know anything about sexual intercourse, and that's why
What
I want
is
to talk
that?
about
You don't.
Jimmy Fallon right now.
Oh, that's a good segue.
It's what we call segue.
Okay.
Segway City.
It's clearly a virgin.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him.
Well, this was back in 2008, so before he had started doing the Tonight Show, and basically I was at a restaurant in New York, a sushi restaurant, and my friend's brother was the sushi chef, and my friend and I were there, and Jimmy Fallon was sitting at a seat at the sushi bar by himself, and so we of course knew everyone at the restaurant, so we're like, hey. seat us next to Jimmy.
Yeah.
And so I sit down next to Jimmy, and he like calls the waiter over, and I was like, I'm really sorry. I don't want to be rude, but I might have a friend who's going to come meet me. And if they come, like, I might need a seat next to me. And then I just turned to him, and I'm like, God, you're so fucking rude, Jimmy. And he just like looked at me, and then he started laughing, and then we just started chit-chatting away, and like having the best time ever. Like, I introduced him to my friend who was the chef, and then I was like feeding him different pieces of sushi, and then his friend arrived, and we like all hung out, we were drinking, having a good time. And then that was just when the iPhone had come out. So Jimmy took, he was like, oh, let me take a picture of all three of us. So we took a picture of me, his friend, and him. And then my friend had an iPhone. She's like, ooh, I want to take a picture too. So she took a picture. And so then basically when Jimmy left, he bought us all a bottle of wine. And like, it was super fun. And then he kept going back to the restaurant and talking to the chef and was like, how are those girls doing? So
nice.
But
I regret making that virgin joke now.
Oh yeah. No, but so then 4 years later, I went to see his show, and then like at the end, he comes around to like high five everyone, and so he came to me, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me from Morimoto, like I was Robbie's friend, and he was like, I have your picture in my phone. Oh, that's so cute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's so nice. And then 2 months after the original Jimmy story, that same friend was sitting at the sushi restaurant, and she sends me a text message, and she's like, hey, I'm sitting next to Leo. And I was like, what? And I was in bed. So I just like jump up, throw on a dress, some boots, and like rush over to the sushi restaurant. And she's sitting with Q-Tip, Leo, and then it's my two friends, Nicole and Sandy. And I rock up like, oh my God, I'm going to have the same like fun night, like chatting with Leo like I did with Jimmy. I rock up to the table, and then they're sitting at one of those seats where you have to take off your shoes. And I was wearing these like really cute boots, and I take them off, and I have these like ugly ripped athletic socks, and because I just like I was you know
it was gonna be that.
Shoes and
so
then
then
boots, like what the hell?
Yeah, so then I take off my boots, and my friends are like, oh my God, like take off those socks, like what are you doing? It's Leo. So I took off the socks, and like kind of like, I don't know, just made my way in there. But then Leo just wasn't up for it. Like my friend tried the sushi, like let me feed you this. He didn't care. He wasn't into it.
Like he was.
He was too cool.
Just
too
not
cool for school.
like he'd be like, oh, I couldn't possibly.
Oh no, he was just like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. Whereas Jimmy was like, yeah, come on,
okay.
That's so fun. I love New York.
I do too.
God, I was there for 2 days, and in the 2 days I was there, I met DJ Kool Herc.
Wow.
I don't know if I know.
He's like
hip-hop legend.
Inventor of like, hip-hop, basically.
Okay, sorry, I'm not like...
Okay. No, it's okay. My point being is that, like, fuck, you're in New York for, like, 2 days?
Yeah.
And you meet, like, the coolest people.
You do.
Wait, was Q-Tip cool?
He was cooler than, like, he was more friendly than Leo. He was into the sushi tasting.
All right.
But Leo was just,
Well...
Yeah.
I'm a huge Tribe Called Quest fan, so I'm happy to hear this actually.
Okay, you're like more
Like,
excited
I like-
about the Q-Tip part of this. You're like,
Way more.
forget Jimmy, forget
No.
Leo, Q-Tip.
I mean, I'm a fan of all three, really. And like Romeo and Juliet, the movie, is one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
But a big part of the reason
So
I
good.
love it so much is the
Claire?
soundtrack.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well,
Claire Danes.
and Paul Rudd. Let's be honest.
Oh, wait.
Paul Rudd isn't fucking aged in.
I need to
again.
rewatch it. I didn't
Yeah,
even
me too.
remember that he was in it.
He was.
We watched this in grade 10 like history, which I don't
Paul
think
Rudd.
applies. I don't think that applies.
Sounds like a great school.
very
So
Very
we're gonna
cool.
learn about the
Better-
historical
better
events
than that-
of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
better than that art school that you
I know. I went
I'm
to an art
kidding.
school.
I'm
And we
kidding.
watched Romeo and Juliet too.
I'm forever
but in
envious
drama
by
class,
this school.
But in drama class, Paul Rudd played the guy that Juliet was supposed to marry. So the Halloween party where they're all in costumes, he's like an astronaut, and he's like dancing with her.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since I saw that.
But what I'm saying is he hasn't aged since then. He looks exactly the same. That's really weird.
He just doesn't age in general.
Why?
Yeah.
That's so weird when that happens.
That's great.
Maybe he's like my grandmother, where she looked 20 until she was 60, and then she looked 100.
Oh, okay.
It's like an Asian grandmother thing.
I was just
Yeah.
about to ask you, but I didn't want to be racist.
You can go ahead.
It's a Japanese
Grandma
drama,
Shimizu.
right? Because that's typically the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
look like they're like
Yeah.
20 until they're 80,
Yeah.
and then
Like
all
my
of a
mom,
sudden,
you can't tell
3
her
years,
age.
it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I got the same genes.
that's
Yeah,
lovely.
same with my grandparents as well.
Yeah,
Well, on the Lebanese side, it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
same thing.
I'm 75.
you look
You guys
great.
know?
You look
You look-
amazing for 75.
I know. It's pretty
Wow.
cool.
What a treat.
I know.
Oh man, that's cool. You look. I bet you're the hit of your retirement home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I do stand-up sets for them.
Really?
You know, they're into
Like,
it.
her
But I
quick
can't
wit
stand
and her
up
quick
'cause
brain.
I'm 75.
Right,
It's
right,
a bit
right.
tough sometimes.
Still can't say the F word.
Oh, yeah. That's
Uh,
why I practice not saying the F
Your
word.
mom's 150
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Still
Oh, man.
trying to censor your.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
always.
Wait, where did you go to high school?
I started high school in Midland, Texas, George Bush's hometown, and I finished it in Des Moines, Iowa.
Slipknot's hometown.
Really?
Hey, that's where
No
they're
way.
from. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's so cool. Are you like full on American?
No.
No.
I moved to Midland when I was 12 from India.
It's interesting.
And then my
'cause
parents left and went to India.
You said earlier that you have like an American accent. I
Mm-hmm.
really don't think you do.
I think, I'll tell you where I got my
Okay.
accent, and you tell me what you
Okay,
think.
okay.
I believe I have a neutral American accent, not
Yeah.
a Texas accent, because I learned it by watching Saved by the Bell when I was in Texas.
Amazing.
Because
Yeah.
they used to make fun of me, obviously, in Texas for my accent. So I would just watch Saved by the Bell every day to learn American culture and
love
get an
that.
accent.
What was your accent when you got there?
I had a Bombay accent.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it? Is that
Yeah.
Okay. It takes me a second, but yeah. So I used to talk more like this. So this is how we talk in Bombay, and so
Oh.
this is my accent. I think it's perfectly clear, but
Yeah.
in Texas they did not like it.
Okay.
It sounds more like when I
British
hear someone
Indian.
with a
That's what I was
Bombay
gonna say.
accent.
It's much more British. I went to a British school in
I was going to
India.
say.
Sorry.
It's,
Yeah.
No, it sounds very British.
That's
I
what
was
I'm
about to
saying.
say.
Yeah.
It sounds very much
Yeah.
like.
But you watched Indian Matchmaker. You actually
Yes.
yeah.
No,
so
but
some
I-
of them
I did
do have
identify
that.
that as- oh,
yeah,
I love it.
Some of those did have more British Indian accent. No, actually they didn't in that show.
By the way, when you were
Well,
telling your dating show story, that's the most intrigued I've ever heard her ever.
I'm obsessed.
She is.
I'm obsessed with
I can
Indian
show you
Matchmaker.
clips. After
is
this, I'll
just-
show you clips of me on the show.
I'm
if you
so
want.
excited. I loved the like Indian Matchmaker. It was like I binged it in a day. Like it was so. I was obsessed. I love it.
It's good times. It's good times.
I wish there was more.
they will make a second season, but who knows when they'll be able to film it.
I hope so. Also, I love your Bombay accent.
Oh,
That
thank
sounded
you.
really cool to me too.
Well,
very cool.
thanks.
Yeah.
Didn't get me any parts in my elementary school plays in Texas, but you know.
You know what?
Can I read?
They're like Duncan, a bunch of fucking losers.
Yeah, fuck
not
that
giving
guy.
you parts.
What the hell?
Excuse me.
Can
I
I
sneezed over there?
That's fine.
can I reverse engineer our accent? Do we have an accent like as being like Canadians?
Like compared to Americans?
Like
I
compared
just
to
mean
yeah.
like it's just like, does it occur to you like, oh, this person's Canadian?
You're sorry when you said sorry.
That's-
You said
that's what I
sorry.
get too.
Sorry about. Say about.
About
That's okay. Yours
Yeah.
isn't so pronounced.
Same with me. It's funny. My LA friends were like, "Oh, sorry," like make fun of me just for that one word.
Yeah, that was the only when you said it. I was like, ah.
You know what I
It's like
noticed?
little words, right?
Yeah.
My American friend.
Friends.
Oh, well, when
Your
you say
I don't have an
France-
accent.
When you say France, it sounds like you're from Texas.
I'm just trying to appeal to you.
Yeah.
My American friends, they'll make fun of something like that, and then they'll be like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
And that's like their version of that.
My friend
Huh?
here
Yeah.
keeps making fun of me for that. I'm like, what? He's like, that's your Iowa. I'm like, no, no. I'm like, So then I lied to him and said, because means yes in Hindi. I'm like, no, I'm being polite. And I'm
Yes,
singing,
so
which
how
is
dare
a lie.
you
That's
for
a
making
lie.
fun of my
But it's really
heritage.
the Iowa thing, but
Yeah.
he
love
doesn't
it.
need to know it.
Exactly.
You've lived all over the world.
Yeah. I've moved 16 times.
You're a globetrotter.
Have you traveled for vacation purposes ever?
I've been to 70 countries.
Oh my god.
I'm a weirdo.
See, this
No,
Duncan
that's
who doesn't
so cool.
think you're
Duncan.
interested.
And Duncan
Yeah.
doesn't know shit.
This is a well-traveled person with talent, Duncan.
Duncan doesn't know what he gave up.
Duncan's
You know
missing
what?
out.
Let's call the episode "Fuck Duncan."
Yeah.
No, wait,
I'm
then
down.
your mom will never get to it.
You know, my parents don't know I was on that dating show because that was the one thing I was like, I'm not going to tell
they
them
can't
about
see
this.
this episode.
Yeah, they just
Okay,
can't
so
see
they-
it.
Well, let's just swear it up.
But
then.
you know what's crazy about that dating show?
Swear up a storm.
Yeah, we can swear up a storm, talk about sex. You know, you do all those things.
SEX.
Yeah, SEX. That show randomly has started airing in random countries in Asia. So my friend in Hong Kong and my friend in Bali, like they both like, hey, I'm watching you on TV.
No
and,
way.
And it was like 2 years after the show aired.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so I have a
so
picture of it with like subtitles from my friend who was watching it in Hong Kong, and I'm like, I hope to God it doesn't show up in India, because then my parents and all their friends will be like, oh,
Man,
Oh no.
that'd be bad.
Yes.
I think my mom would be pumped.
No, they
Yeah.
would be, but they'd be like, why didn't you tell us about it? And
It's
then it
like
would be
too far gone at this point.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My mom loves to watch these and just like gather information on me.
Yeah, well, that's what she would be doing too. Like, oh, so you are interested in finding a husband, as you
Yeah.
say on this show.
Not what you told us.
Yeah.
It's funny. My mom acts like she's not, and then she's like, I'll go over to my parents' place, and she loves TMZ, and she loves National Enquirer, and she's like, it's just fun. But I think she's invested.
She's
in
into
It
it.
is kind of just fun, but I did buy one copy of National Enquirer when I was like 11.
It's like
When you were 11.
embarrassing. Leonardo DiCaprio
I'm
was the cover.
still
Yeah.
embarrassed about it. And it was when
Do
I
you
was
remember
11.
what the cover story was?
It was the Natalie Holloway case.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Dark.
That's not a celebrity. That's like
Yeah,
just
that's
It's a bit dark.
no, but it doesn't. It's it's okay that you were interested. In
yeah. That's
that.
way less shallow than
Yeah.
we were ready to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's
was
a
waiting
real-
for something like.
Yeah, like
I don't
Callista
know.
Flockhart. That's a deep cut. That's an Ally McBeal reference.
There
I
were
know, but what
definitely,
did she
like-
do?
Yeah, what
Nothing.
They always just
Oh,
showed
yeah.
pictures of her in a bikini.
Yeah,
or
'cause
something
she-
like
They're
she's
like,
like,
look at her
Yeah.
cellulite.
They're like, she's
Yeah.
looking a little thin, isn't
Yeah.
she?
Yeah.
It's like, that's because of you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
It's either like, look at how thin she is, or like, look at her cellulite.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Those are the only options.
You know what's funny though is that
Hollywood, gotta love it.
I was like living in LA for a while with this friend of mine who's a tattoo artist named Kat Von D, and she's very famous. And my mom came and stayed with us, and then was like obsessed with her now. And so, Kat's one of those people where people will sometimes on social media just like say mean things about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my mom, all she uses Twitter for is sticking up for Kat Von
Oh
D.
yes, I love your mom.
That's
I,
it.
I was like obsessed with Kat like growing up.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be a tattoo artist because of her, and then got into like I don't know, I wanted to like build choppers, but like also was like obsessed with her aesthetic. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, she's the coolest.
Yeah, she is the coolest.
And now, yeah, I'd be right behind your mom.
That's all she
Twitter.
uses Twitter for, is being like, hey, that wasn't her, okay? That was Jesse James' other girlfriend.
Yeah.
They might look a little similar, but it's not the same person at all. Like, it's all she uses social media for, is like battling on behalf of my friend.
Your mom
My-
sounds like an absolute powerhouse.
And it's funny because, for better or for worse, I realize I have it too. Because my mom, since I was a kid, is a very much like, don't take shit from anybody attitude. And now I very much have that. And it's like, I don't know if this is a good trait to have all the time. Because it's like, hey, I heard this person may have said this thing about me. Fuck them forever. You know what I mean? That's very much how my mom is, and it's very much how I am now too. So Duncan, if you're out there,
We aren't okay with you.
I hate you.
Fucking Duncan.
It's because you're my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm flattered.
You don't know what you're missing out on, Duncan.
Exactly.
We're not fans of Duncan.
Hey, you're not invited on the podcast. I just slurred that. We had 2 drinks before this show.
we had
It's
2
okay,
drinks
he
before
wouldn't
this
be-
podcast.
He wouldn't be interesting on the podcast because he was boring.
Very
I
true.
like how harsh that is. I like just describing someone as boring is the greatest,
it's the worst
meanest
possible
insult.
thing you could say.
He's boring.
He's boring.
Yeah.
That's why they had to make him feed me to make him look interesting.
Oh,
had to give
sexy.
him-
Yeah.
An actual thing to like stir up his personality.
Yeah.
How sad. That was the hugest like insult
Yeah.
to me.
speak
You
the
can't be
shit
a
out of
good
him.
reality star? Like, what's wrong with you?
Oh, exactly. You need an actual producer to.
Yeah, exactly. To make you look fun.
I'm so mad at this
God.
guy.
Yeah.
So
Don't
mad.
worry about Duncan. Don't worry. We
all I can
are
think about.
better off without him.
That's why we have the title of the podcast. Fuck Duncan.
I can't stand when people I know who are very clearly talented, great people, have Duncans in their lives. What do you got going on, Duncan?
That frightened us a little bit.
I'm mad.
I have one line I want. If I tell you, though, you're going to flip out that Duncan said. Should I tell
Okay.
him the line that
Yes.
they
Tell
actually,
me.
Yes.
They edited it out of the show.
I'm so down.
So
to
ready
hear.
for this?
Okay. So they made us, like, the producers like ask each other like what the other one's looking for in a partner. Or what's your type or something like that. So I said, what's your normal type, Duncan?
Oh, here we go.
And Duncan's like, well, normally I go for hot blonde girls. But Laura said I should look for someone with substance. So I'm substance, guys.
No.
I was like, thanks.
There's so much wrong with that. Oh, that hurts my heart. What the hell?
He's such an idiot.
How do these people exist? I had this one chef that I worked for when I was cooking, and I remember this one time this server was being a piece of shit, and I think that what he's about to say applies to this.
Oh.
This guy, I don't know what he did, but I remember the chef like lost his shit, and he was like, "How does this person not get through life without?" And he like struggles for words, and he's like, "Without getting dead." And that's what I wonder about Duncan. How does he struggle?
Duncan.
How does he get through life without getting dead?
Duncan, can
It
you
was
tie
like
your own
not
shoelaces?
Not even a proper
Doubt it.
sentence because of the frustration.
Yep,
Yeah.
You know?
yep.
How do you get through life without getting
Duncan's
dead?
so dumb he makes the people around him dumb when they're trying to insult him.
It's true.
I hate this guy.
Yeah, me too. He just gets me in a
He's
state
making
where I
us
can't
dumb.
e-
He's
I
making
can't-
us. We're at a loss for words.
okay.
We're speechless. I can't even form a proper sentence.
We can get
It's
beyond
okay.
this.
It's okay. Guys, I've gotten beyond it. I think you can make it. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel.
I think that's a hard gig though. Is like going on those shows. Like it's like I feel like it's gonna be hard on your
Self-esteem.
yeah. Just how can it not be?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it was like after we had the phone conversation where he was like, "Oh, I'm not interested." The producer was like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I saw him the way he put his hand on your leg and blah blah
Yeah.
blah," and I was like, "It's okay." And she was so mad because she had like designed the show to make people fall in love, and I was like, "I'm sorry, it's okay."
So her ambitions were like positive.
Yeah, she had
and
positive
Duncan came in.
Yeah.
So wait, did they have like a proper matchmaker on the show?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. So the problem is like the proper matchmaker couldn't set me up with one of her clients because it had to be someone who wanted to be on TV. And so the producers had people who had said we're interested in being on TV, and so then the matchmaker was like, oh, okay, we'll take this one for her.
Oh, I see.
okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't from her normal pool of clients. And then they wouldn't let me say on the show that I was like moving to LA or whatever. They wanted me to play the role of like, yes, I work in business in London.
no.
I mean, you can kind of tell. Like, I watched that show, Love Is Blind.
Oh, of course, I loved it. Ate it up.
It's funny, like the one girl, I forget her name, but she was like the oldest person on the show, dating like the youngest guy.
Oh, the one who gets
Yeah.
hammered all the time with the
Yeah.
big glass of wine.
Yeah, it's like
Love it.
It seemed like they were like, okay, this person's gonna be the unlikable person on the show, and then it totally worked. Like
Jessica.
Jessica
And
that's
Mark.
right. Yeah, and then
Mark
it's
is 24.
yeah, and then he becomes like the scapegoat of the whole show, like
Yeah.
the martyr, where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
but he's cool, he's nice,
Yeah.
he's a personal trainer.
Yep. And she's hammered and going for that other guy, that guy who's a douchebag who liked like
Oh
the
yeah,
funny
yeah.
girls and all of them.
He ended up marrying that
Yeah.
other girl, and that girl was like fuck her.
Yeah, yeah. And she's like, I didn't hit on him.
Yes, you were. I saw it.
We all saw it.
show.
Yeah.
But then, did you watch the reunion? Because then she's like, yeah, I saw some of it and I felt really bad.
I did
and I'm
watch
so
that.
sorry. And that girl's like, I don't care.
Can I just say that the people who benefited most from COVID are those reality
for
dating
sure.
shows?
For sure.
Oh, definitely.
It's
'Cause
amazing.
that's all we want to watch.
And it's
is
funny
that.
because I watched that and that feels like years ago. That was like
was.
3 months ago.
Right?
It's just we just
like-
watched so much stuff right now. Like, we were just talking about Shudder, which is like the horror movie Netflix. They're just loving it because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So we just watch.
seriously.
Like, I got Disney Plus for a while. I don't even like Disney movies. Like, it's like,
Oh, I love
I'll
Disney
try this
Plus.
out. Watch The Simpsons. Watch The Sandlot. I'm like, okay, good.
Did you see Hamilton?
I haven't seen Hamilton.
I keep getting ads for that.
Well, it was on Disney Plus, and that's the one that I don't have someone's passwords to. I need to get.
I don't know if I should watch that. I don't know.
It's true. I always wanted to watch it live, and
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
I don't know when that's gonna happen.
It
So.
just seems like a strange thing. And then also, like, I saw, like, they did a kind of like they mocked it in Family Guy
Yeah.
a little bit. I don't know if you saw that. So
I
then
didn't
I was
see
kind of
that
like, what is this?
It's funny
Like,
'cause-
I feel like it's a play. Like, I should see it in person.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
You know?
But it on paper, it looks like it's going to be bad. And so I can't imagine.
Disney one?
No, like Hamilton, like at all the play. It's because it's the hip hop one, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, how could that possibly not be terrible?
Is it hip hop?
It's amazing.
I didn't even
That's
know.
what I keep hearing.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
got to see it live. I feel like.
Oh, I
amazing.
didn't even know it was hip hop.
Yeah, like Eminem was like, "This is the amazing. This is the best thing."
It's,
Okay, well,
like,
maybe I
it's
should
been-
watch
it.
it
It won all the Tony Awards like a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
But it's
Oh.
it's like we were just talking to Stuart Jones.
Yeah.
Stuart Jones is like, he was talking about. I think he was talking about Kevin Hart's special, where he's like talking about how if you're watching it on Netflix, like an arena comedy special, he's like, every 30 seconds everyone's dying, and you're like, what are they laughing at? It's like, it's because you're not there.
Yeah.
It's like it's a totally
Yeah.
different thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
Hamilton would be the same. Like I think if I was watching it on Netflix, I should be like, huh. You know what I mean?
You won't have the same thing, but at least the music and stuff. Well, I just want to watch it because I feel like I've been missing out for years, and so at least
Yeah.
then I can be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's really
No, I just
the reason I want to watch it.
want to be caught up on
Yeah.
everything that's going on.
Yeah.
that's all.
I was.
Just don't want to be the loser who doesn't know stuff. Yeah.
You're not a
That's
loser at
that's
all.
typically
Duncan
me.
is.
So I can-
yeah, I bet
fuck
Duncan
Duncan.
hasn't watched it. That's for sure.
I had a friend who she had like unlimited tickets to operas in town, and so we just go, and it's like it's not really my taste, but you can't help but be compelled by it live. So I feel like plays are very much like that.
Oh, I love plays though. I
Yeah.
love musicals.
But can you imagine watching an opera on
So I
Netflix? It just wouldn't be nearly as effective, and
That's
it's
a good
like,
point.
and nobody has a microphone, and their voice is just so powerful that it's just filling up the whole place, like it's part of it. And so I imagine it's sort of similar.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Now I'm depressed. I don't know when the next time I'm gonna get to see
Don't get depressed.
some show is.
Don't get depressed.
It's okay. I'm not depressed.
I mean, you can always watch things on Zoom.
That's true. That is
Have you done
true.
any Zoom shows during?
No. Well, I was supposed to do one Zoom show, and I was like, I'm going to take the easy way out, and I'm going to be here, but I'm going to give you a bunch of sketch videos that you can play, so
That's
I don't
great.
have to perform.
So,
I love that.
That's what I did.
so it's interesting because like I don't know if I told you this, but like her sketch stuff is like doing super well on YouTube, and it's like getting picked up in different parts of the world and stuff
I
like
like-
that. Like, how did that happen?
Well, no, it's not that it's doing well on YouTube. It's that so basically in May, because I was making all these like silly sketch videos, making my parents act in them, like doing all kinds of awesome stuff to pass the time,
Yeah.
and then there's a weekly comedy news political satire show in India. So it's kind of like the Daily Show,
Yeah.
but once a week in India. And the host of that show, the comedian, his name's Cyrus Brocha, someone sent him one of my videos, and he was like, oh, these are great, send me more. And then
Yeah.
he was like, have her call me. And so I called him, and he was like, hey, do you want to be on the show this week? And I was like, yeah, obviously. He's like, okay, can you send me a video in the next, like by Wednesday or something? And so then we kind of just talked about it, like an intro video.
Yeah.
So I filmed it, sent it, and then they really liked it. And so now this weekend is my 13th episode.
Amazing.
So cool.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, so it's like I just like film these like all on my iPhone in
Yeah.
my apartment. Now I'm involving like one or two people. Like this weekend or this week's episode is with Vij, the Indian restaurant, Vij's.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the owner, Vikram, he's in the sketch. We did a little
That's
sketch
great.
with him, like me at his restaurant and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I filmed that and then sent it, and then it airs on TV there. And then
so
they
cool.
also have it on YouTube and Facebook as well. But
Yeah.
so those are the sketches that are
so great.
getting attention.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched
love
I
that.
watched some of the ones on your YouTube too.
Oh.
And it's like, is it the same one?
So some of the so I just basically, because people were like asking, and I was like, oh, I need to put some of these on YouTube, because I had all of them saved like on my Vimeo, but it was like a private thing, and then I was like, I guess I should just start posting these, because now it's been aired. You know, it was aired like a couple months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've started posting them now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, then there's a bunch of other random ones from before that are on there.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's cool that it started like, when did you say it started? May?
May.
Okay, I was gonna say like, I thought you said March. And it was
So
like,
March,
That's a great time to start having some steam.
Yeah, no. I
to focus on.
started making the videos with my parents in March.
Yeah.
Must have been like middle or late March or something. And then I was just making them like every few days, and and then their friends are in some of them. Like all these other people were like, oh, I want to be in them, and like so I was putting like all these people in India in these like videos.
That's so cool.
But nobody was, they're just like, I don't know how many people were watching them, but then now it's like,
It's great.
oh, okay, there's like a few million people watching me every week.
So great.
But I'm here, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's so exciting.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
cool, super cool.
Yeah.
What was this is on YouTube?
No, well, the TV show is called The Week That Wasn't,
Okay.
and it's
That's a
it
great
airs
title.
on CNN in India.
Oh, cool.
So like it's like CNN is one of the few English channels there, so it's that's why it's on CNN. But it's obviously caveated as like, this is an entertainment show, not the news. And then they have they also posted on the CNN India's YouTube and Facebook channel so that you can watch it online.
Oh, cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Ambika. Well, anything you want to promote or anything? I guess your YouTube channel. And,
Yeah. I'll give you links to promote.
Please
but-
do.
And we
Yeah.
will include those links.
Yeah, and I
in-
do post the clips from the show every week, like on my website or on Vimeo. But I'm gonna start doing
What's
it on
your
YouTube.
website?
Ambikavas.com.
There you go.
Oh, sick.
Check it out.
We'll include those links as well.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
What a blast.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Duncan.
Bye, Duncan.
Bye, Duncan.
Mother.